What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So, according to Duke basketball, this is their 41st straight season with at least one McDonald's All-American, and their 15th straight season with at least two plus McDonald's All-Americans. Definitely beating out a bunch of other teams. Yes, as long as you have McDonald's All-Americans, it doesn't automatically mean you're going to win championships. Obviously, Duke has had many years where they've had multiple teams that had multiple McDonald's All-Americans, and they still probably got bounced out on the first round. But obviously the culprits for this year's team are going to be obviously Cameron Boozer, his brother Caden Boozer, and then Nick Kamenia, all 4 or 5-star related players. So yeah, very talented guys. Hopefully Duke does not lose that many of their guys. You could obviously think of 2 to 3 that are going to be most likely leaving. Could be a couple of those older guys too, and then these young guys are going to have to step up and try to play really well right away. So hoping that's the case. And then on the women's side too, for the Duke basketball team, they did have Emily Skinner make the McDonald's All-American team too. So that's not surprising. She's basically ranked in the top 10. So if you're one of those top 25 to 30 players, you're most likely going to get the McDonald's All-American invitation as long as you put up a certain amount of stats, I guess, in your senior season. So congrats to her also. And then sadly, yes, we did hear about Jalen Johnson, ex-Duke player for the Atlanta Hawks, apparently will miss the rest of the season with a torn labrum in his left shoulder. He was averaging a career-high 18.9 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists this season. So yeah, he was definitely balling, definitely living up to that new contract extension that a lot of people were kind of worried that he got over the summer, but he definitely deserved it after what he did last year, going into that kind of contract year. But then he was still progressing and playing very well this season too. But yes, sadly, injury bug got him, but hopefully he will be coming back stronger next season. And I believe Cooper Flagg, because of last week, he was named the ACC Rookie of the Week, so congrats to him for getting back on there. And then Duke was able to beat NC State earlier this week, 74-64, a little bit of a closer game, but Cooper Flagg stepped up with 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists also. So yeah, the rookie stepping up, looking more and more each game like he's going to be a first-round pick. He doesn't even take as many shots. Yeah, I think he took 17 shots in that game, so he should technically, if you made all your shots, he could have maybe 34 points. So he got pretty close to that with 28, so I'm not mad about that. But yeah, they've been playing some pretty tough teams. I think Wake Forest and NC State both led the ACC, or at least top 2 in the ACC when it comes to steals, and obviously playing very rough with these younger guys. But Duke was able to still get the victories on the road and at home. And then, of course, they get the rivalry matchup against North Carolina. I believe it's at Duke, and College Game Day is going to be there too in the morning. So yeah, it's going to be a big-time matchup like it always is, even with North Carolina kind of struggling this season. What better way for them to turn around their season than beat the number 2 team in the nation in Duke? So hopefully that does not happen for my sake on Saturday night, but looking forward to that game, of course. And the Lakers played the other day against the Hornets on the road and got that victory 112-107. Anthony Davis stepped up with 42 points, 23 rebounds, and 2 blocks. I think he's had definitely over double digits of that 40 and 20 something game. I think, of course, Will Chamberlain leads in that category in NBA history, which is obviously an insane stat line. But either way, congrats to him. But yeah, sadly, in that next game, the very next day, they did lose to the 76ers in Philadelphia, and I believe they lost Anthony Davis in that first quarter to a rib injury. It looks like the Lakers did reevaluate him this day. He underwent an MRI today that confirmed an abdominal muscle strain. The injury occurred in the first quarter of Tuesday's game, so he will return to LA today or yesterday, whatever, and he will be reevaluated in approximately 1 week. So that doesn't mean he's going to be coming back. They're going to look at it, see if he's ready to go, if he's good to go, and if not, then they'll most likely keep him out a couple more games. We'll see how it goes, but hopefully it's nothing too crazy. But during this time, over that last game or so, he was named an all-star reserve for the Western side with I think it's his 10th time he's been an all-star. So yeah, congrats to him. Definitely well-deserved, playing very well these last couple of years, especially being healthy. So yeah, he's definitely deserved to be on the all-star team, in my opinion. Who knows? He's going to be healthy enough at that time, but I think they still got a couple more weeks or so. It's around Valentine's Day weekend. And then they were able to play against a pretty bad team in the Washington Wizards and were able to beat them up 134-96. Today, even Shake Milton, their recent tradee in that Nets trade, he had 21 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds. So yeah, it definitely seemed like a blowout. I wasn't able to watch this game because I totally forgot about it because they play way earlier now than I usually wait till like 7 or 7:30 on the West Coast, but now they're playing at like 4 or 4:30, of course, which it would be 7 or 7:30 on the East Coast. So yeah, missed this one, but didn't worry about them losing to Washington because they beat them up in LA a couple weeks ago. So glad they're able to get this big time victory on the road. And for the Duke women's basketball side, Toby Fournier, that freshman, was named the ACC Rookie of the Week again. She's won it 4 times, I believe, this season, which is pretty awesome. So she's, like I said in the last video, looking like she's going to be the ACC Rookie of the Week, in my opinion. And then Chandler Rivers, the returning cornerback for Duke football. Apparently he's like the second highest graded Power 4 cornerbacks in the 2024 season. Like just 0.1 or 2 away from being a guy from Texas to be the number 1 guy. That's why I was kind of surprised, because PFF really likes Rivers, but for some reason maybe he wasn't hearing that good of stuff from the NFL evaluators, so that's why he came back to Duke. But I still think he would have gotten picked up pretty high, but maybe he thinks coming back will get him into that second, maybe even first round for a Duke football player, which just hasn't really happened in a while since, like Daniel Jones, the quarterback. But yeah, we'll see how that turns out for him next season. And then, yeah, the football team did release their schedule finally. A couple of opponents we've been seeing the past couple of years, but a couple of new ones too. I believe August 30th, they play against Elon. September 6th against Illinois. That's going to be a big-time game. September 13th at Tulane. That's another nice matchup out of conference. September 20th, NC State starting ACC play. September 27th at Syracuse. October 4th at Cal. Might have to go up there and see that game. In Berkeley, October 18th against Georgia Tech. November 1st at Clemson. November 8th at UConn. November 15th against Virginia. November 22nd at North Carolina. And November 29th against Wake Forest. So yeah, pretty nice matchups overall, especially in the ACC. Yeah, they're going to be coming to California. I know I just said that I would probably go, but I think if I'm going to drive all the way up to Berkeley, I think it might be more for the basketball team than for the football team. So I'm hoping that happens sooner than later, but at least it looks like the football team will be there sooner. So we'll see. You never know. I want to try to quickly get through a lot of Chargers rumors and trades that might be happening. I did kind of go through pretty quickly some of those other ones a couple weeks ago, but want to get through maybe those and what I would think a trade like that would look like. So obviously one of the big players recently was, I believe it was Micah Parsons from the Cowboys, their top player. Apparently he's been linked to the Chargers. That would be an awesome get. It just sucks that you have to give up so much of your future to Dallas. And yeah, it's going to be multiple first round picks, and he just got like a pretty big contract extension. I'm sure he's due one soon, so it's going to be a lot of money on your salary cap. So I like the player. He's a young guy, but it's going to cost a lot to get him. So maybe a no in this scenario, but definitely a nice pickup in Madden if you're playing fantasy football like that. Another player they talked about was a really good player is Cam Jordan from the Saints. He's another defensive lineman who's kind of surprising that he's still in the NFL. It's been like definitely over a decade, but he's still producing, even though it's been for the Saints, who haven't really been that great. So maybe you don't have to give up that much when it comes to draft capital. So like capital. So you only have to give up maybe a late or mid draft pick, which isn't that bad compared to first round picks. And I don't think he's really making that much money either, so it wouldn't hurt your salary cap situation. So I would not mind that. Another player is like Myles Garrett from the Browns, which is another player who I see like a Parsons, who's a little bit older than Parsons, but still one of the game wreckers in the league and would be a big time get. So you have to give up first round picks and all that stuff. So yeah, he is older than Parsons, but he's probably making just a little bit less than Parsons, just because Parsons, whenever you get a newer contract for a player, it's always more than the last guy. But I don't know. He's a big-time get, but it might take quite a bit to get him too. Tyrann Mathieu is another Saints player, the safety, who I guess isn't making like that much money, so you could easily trade for him like $12 million and I'd have to give up that high of a draft pick too, kind of like Cam Jordan. But in this scenario, I probably would prefer Cam Jordan over him. Another running back out there is Travis Etienne from the Jaguars. Yeah, they're kind of like up and down right now, but maybe you could snag him. Yeah, he's an AFC team also, but maybe you have a chance to get him just because of how much turmoil and changing that's going on with that franchise at the moment. I think I mentioned last time DK Metcalf, which, yeah, it'll be a lot easier to get him than some of those top wide receivers like a T. Higgins, who you're going to have to give a big contract to, but you could probably give up just like a second-round pick for him to the Seattle Seahawks, and you should be fine. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Obviously, Deebo Samuel has been linked to the Chargers quite a bit, but I kind of like this dream scenario trade where they'll trade Joey Bosa to the Niners to play with his brother, Nick Bosa, who's on the defense for San Francisco, and then in return, the Chargers get back Deebo. I don't know how that works contract-wise, but that would be a pretty awesome trade scenario, in my opinion. Another trade idea or free agent was obviously Mark Andrews. Talked about him. Might have to give him a middle round pick. Nothing crazy. Kyle Pitts is another guy where it's like, yeah, Chargers have kind of always been linked to him, but for some reason Atlanta doesn't want to give him up or even use him correctly, no matter what head coach they have. But he could be a guy you might be able to get for like a third-round pick, and Atlanta would probably be okay with that. You just never know. And then obviously congrats to the ex-Duke football player Noah Gray. There's another player on the Kansas City Chiefs. In my last video, I gave congrats to like a couple ex-USC guys, but of course, Kansas City has to have a Duke guy too. So, like I always said, I would go for the team in the Super Bowl. If the Chargers most likely don't make it to the Super Bowl, then I would go for the team that has more Duke or USC players. And of course, it's always the Chiefs, and they have been winning, which it's like I'm a little bit okay about that, but it's always hard to see your, conference rival win championships. I don't want to see the three-peat. I don't mind Philadelphia beating them, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a good rest of your day. Bye. Let's go, Duke.